The PlayStation 5 is only 3 years old, but Sony announced it's already entering the later stage of its life cycle. So is it even worth getting a PS5 in 2024? In this video, I'll talk about my experience of owning one and why it's still worth buying. So let's get started. Okay, the PS5 launched back in November 2020, and it wasn't the easiest console to find due to the global chip shortages and other supply chain issues. I wasn't lucky enough to own one until March 2021, and I still remember the sweat and tears I went through to get it. I followed these restock trackers, and they all pointed to Walmart being the best place to buy one. I had either the website or app open on all of my devices, and after hours of refreshing, I finally placed an order. Fast forward 3 years later, you can easily purchase one online or at a local store. And last November, Sony released the PS5 Slim and started phasing out the original fat model. The disc version will cost you $500, while the digital version is $450. If you're interested in the PS5, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Alright, for me, the number one reason to choose one console over the other are the games, and there are now a ton of PS5 games to play compared to when it first launched. I'm not a hardcore gamer, but here are some of my favorites. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is the latest installment in the series, and it was one of the best looking games when the PS5 first launched. You play as Ratchet or Rivet, along with her faithful sidekick, and try and stop the evil Emperor from conquering the world. You have access to all these unique weapons while you jump between dimensions, and the game feels like it's a Pixar movie. Next is Final Fantasy XVI. If you're a big fan of Japanese RPGs like I am, these games are known for their amazing storyline, excellent music, and incredible graphics. We also have games like Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, Kena Bridge of Spirits, and Gran Turismo 7. And in 2024 so far, we've seen some great PS5 must-haves like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Tifa, Best Girl, Rise of the Ronin, and the upcoming Stellar Blade. And real quick, listen to how quiet the PS5 is. If you have a whole catalog of PS4 games, you'll still be able to play them with fast loading times, and sometimes an upgraded version. I have a bad habit of buying games and never finishing them, but I will someday and acquire that platinum trophy, or that's what I keep telling myself. So, aside from the games, the new DualSense controller gives you a whole new immersion while playing games. Now, it all comes down to personal preference, whether you like the PlayStation controllers, or Xbox, or even Nintendo, but once you try this, I can almost guarantee you'll like it the best. It actually feels like a big upgrade compared to the previous DualShock 4, and it comes down to two features: haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. It's hard to demonstrate these on video, but I'll try my best to describe it. And the best game to showcase these new features is Astro's Playroom. It's more of a controller demo, but it's still pretty fun to play, and an easy platinum trophy. I'm only on the main menu, but I can already feel a subtle vibration as the letters glow from left to right. And when the word Astro jumps off the screen, or when the character flies in, the vibration intensifies. Sound is also playing from the controller, but it gets kind of annoying. When walking around the CPU plaza, I can feel every little step Astro takes. Sand feels like I'm walking on sand, and ice feels like I'm skating on ice. Haptic feedback also works when you're sliding your finger across the touchpad, using the motion sensor as the weight shifts to one side, and with the built-in microphone. The adaptive triggers are very impressive because they can add some resistance when you're using them. When Astro is flying around in a jetpack, the triggers add the right amount of resistance depending on how fast or slow you're moving. This game is the best case scenario for the DualSense controller, and the other games I played do a fairly good job. In Rebirth, you can feel the haptic feedback in cutscenes and when you're slashing away at enemies, and in GT7, the gas and brake pedals take advantage of the adaptive triggers. These two features alone make the DualSense controller an upgrade, but the battery life could be better. I can get about 6 hours on mine, so if you game a lot, it's worth picking up an extra controller. When it comes to performance, the PS5 is no joke. I actually didn't mind waiting for an older PlayStation to load a game, but now that I've used a PS5, I can't go back. On the PS4, I remember Remake took about 30 seconds to load a save file, and now it only takes 2 seconds. To give you an idea on how fast the SSD really is, I'm going to launch Rebirth from the home screen and load a save file. And here's how long it takes to travel between different regions. It's lightning fast. The PS5 can also deliver true 4K graphics thanks to the custom CPU and GPU, and everything looks a lot crisper and vibrant, especially on an OLED TV. There's also ray tracing, which brings realistic shadows and reflections. It looks really cool when you first notice it, but for me, I don't really pay attention since I'm more focused on the story and gameplay. Some games have 3 different modes you can choose from: graphics, balanced, and performance. Graphics mode targets a 4K resolution at 30 FPS with ray tracing. This is the one I normally choose during my first playthrough, since 60 FPS looks a little fake to me. Then I switch to one of the other modes when I do a speedrun on hard mode. Performance provides a 1440p resolution at 60 FPS, and balance gives you a nice in-between. The PS5 is great as is, but if you wanted to take your gaming experience even further, or change up the look, Sony has a variety of accessories on their website. The most obvious one is another DualSense controller. As I mentioned before, the battery life doesn't last that long, so you can get a second controller while the first one is charging, or get the official charging station to keep both controllers fully charged at all times. These controllers come in other colors like Galactic Purple, Cobalt Blue, and Great Camouflage. I'm a simple guy, so I went with matte black. There's also a DualSense Edge controller for hardcore gamers. You can customize the controls, map the back buttons, and replace the joysticks. The latest accessories that work well with the PS5 are the PlayStation Portal, Pulse Explorer earbuds, and the Pulse Elite headset. The PS Portal is a dedicated remote play device, so you get the same DualSense controller, but with an 8-inch screen in the middle. And the 2 audio devices offer latency-free sound with support for the PS5's Tempest 3D audio. I'll have a long-term review on those 3 accessories, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that. And we can't forget about those console covers. They come in the same colors as the DualSense controllers, and they're very easy to swap out. Third-party covers are also available, like this retro dark plate from Dbrand. It's a little bit different from the official ones, since the corners are rounded and there are 2 vents on the side. For the software, I think it looks very nice and clean. I like the game tiles that span across the screen, and sometimes they'll have a nice background and music. The software wasn't perfect at launch, but Sony's been slowly adding features based on user feedback. Some of these include a vertical trophy list, trophy progress, game folders, 1440p support, and wireless controller updates. But my 2 favorite ones are muting the PS5 startup sound and dimming the power light. And the PS5 now supports M.2 SSDs up to 8TB, which is over 10 times the available internal storage. Overall, the PlayStation 5 is still worth buying today because of the huge catalog of games, next generation DualSense controller, and the blazing fast performance. There are rumors regarding a PS5 Pro with even better graphics and performance, but if you don't care about that and just want to play games and have fun, you won't be disappointed. Let me know if you own a PS5 in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!